Now that the Super Bowl is over, the NFL is experiencing a rare and brief lull in the off-season schedule. But it won't be long before the action resumes. Here's a full schedule of 2019 off-season dates, including key events such as the 2019 NFL Draft, free agency, the NFL Combine, and much more. Feel free to bookmark this page. February 26th through March 4th, 2018 NFL Combine. March 13th, 2019 NFL Agency officially starts at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Mid-April, 2019 NFL Schedule release April 25 to 27, 2019 NFL Draft. Mid-July, Training Camp begins. February 4th, Waiver System begins for 2019. February 12th, beginning at 12 o'clock noon, New York time, NFL clubs may begin to sign players whose 2019 CFL contracts have expired. Players under contract to a CFL club for the 2019 season or who have an option for the 2019 season are not eligible to be signed. February 19th, first day for clubs to designate franchise or transition players. February 26th to March 4th, NFL Scouting Combine, Lucas Oil Stadium, Indianapolis, Indiana. March 5th, prior to 4 p.m., New York time, deadline for clubs to designate franchise or transition players. March 11 to 13, clubs are permitted to contact and enter into contract negotiations with the certified agents of players who will become unrestricted free agents upon the expiration of their 2018 player contracts at 4 p.m. New York time, on March 13th. aka the legal tampering window, March 13th, prior to 4 p.m. New York time, clubs must exercise options for 2019 on all players who have option clauses in their 2018 contracts. March 13th, prior to 4 p.m. New York time, clubs must submit qualifying offers to their restricted free agents with expiring contracts to retain a right of first refusal, compensation. March 13th, prior to 4 p.m. New York time, clubs must submit a minimum salary tender to retain exclusive negotiating rights to their players with expiring 2018 contracts who have fewer than 3 accrued seasons of free agency credit. March 13th, Top 51 rule begins. All clubs must be under the 2019 salary cap prior to 4 p.m. New York time. March 13th, all 2018 player contracts will expire at 4 p.m. New York time. March 13th, the 2019 league year and free agency period begin at 4 p.m. New York time. The first day of the 2019 league year will end at 11:59 p.m. New York time, on March 13th. Clubs will receive a personnel notice that will include all transactions submitted to the league office during the period between 4 p.m. New York time and 11:59 p.m. New York time, on March 13th. March 13th, trading period for 2019 begins at 4 p.m. New York time, after expiration of all 2018 contracts. March 24 to 27, Annual League Meeting, Phoenix, Arizona. April 1st, clubs that hired a new head coach after the end of the 2018 regular season may begin off-season workout programs. April 15th, clubs with returning head coaches may begin off-season workout programs. April 19th, deadline for restricted free agents to sign offer sheets. April 25 to 27, 2019 NFL Draft, Nashville, Tennessee. May 3 to 6, clubs may elect to hold their 3-day post-draft rookie minicamp from Friday through Sunday or Saturday through Monday. May 7th, deadline for prior club to send May 7th tender to its unsigned unrestricted free agents. If the player has not signed a player contract with a club by July 22nd or the first scheduled day of the first NFL training camp, whichever is later, he may negotiate or sign a player contract from that date until the Tuesday following the 10th weekend of the regular season, at 4 p.m. New York time, only with his prior club. May 10 to 13, clubs may elect to hold their 3-day post-draft rookie minicamp from Friday through Sunday or Saturday through Monday. May 13th, rookie football development programs begin. May 16 to 19, NFLPA Rookie Premiere. Invited rookies, typically, first and/or second-round selections, must be permitted by their respective clubs to attend. Such players are unavailable for off-season workouts, OTA days, and mini-camps during this period. May 20–22, Spring League Meeting, Key Biscayne, Florida. June 2nd, for any player removed from the club's roster or whose contract is assigned via waivers or trade-on or after June 2nd, any unamortized signing bonus amounts for future years will be included fully in team salary at the start of the 2020 league year. June 3rd, deadline for prior club to send June 1st tender to its unsigned restricted free agents who received a qualifying offer for a right of first refusal only in order for such player to be subject to the CBA's June 15th tender provision. June 15th, deadline for club to withdraw qualifying offer to restricted free agents and still retain exclusive negotiating rights by substituting June 15th tender of one-year contract at 110% of the player's prior year paragraph 5 salary, with all other terms of his prior year contract carried forward unchanged. Late June, rookie transition program to be held at individual clubs. Attendance is mandatory for all 2019 rookies. July 15th, at 4 p.m., New York time, deadline for any club that designated a franchise player to sign such player to a multi-year contract or extension. After this date, the player may sign only a one-year contract with his prior club for the 2019 season, and such contract cannot be extended until after the club's last regular season game. Mid-July, clubs are permitted to open pre-season training camp for rookies and first-year players beginning 7 days prior to the club's earliest permissible mandatory reporting date for veteran players. Veteran players, defined as a player with at least one pension-credited season, other than quarterbacks, are injured players, as defined in CBA Article 21, Section 6, may report to a club's preseason training camp no earlier than 15 days prior to the club's first scheduled preseason game or July 15th, whichever is later. Veteran quarterbacks and injured players may be required to report to the club's preseason training camp no earlier than 5 days immediately prior to the mandatory reporting date for all other veteran players, provided the club has already opened, or simultaneously opens, its official preseason training camp for all rookies and first-year players. A 3-day acclimation period will apply to players who are on a club's roster up to and including the mandatory veteran reporting date. Players who rejoin the roster after that date may practice, including wearing pads, and play immediately after passing a physical. July 22nd*, signing period ends for unrestricted free agents to whom a May 7th tender was made by prior club. After this date and until 4 p.m. New York time, on the Tuesday following the 10th weekend of the regular season, prior club has exclusive negotiating rights. Or the first scheduled day of the first NFL training camp, whichever is later. July 22nd, signing period ends for transition players with outstanding tenders. After this date and until 4 p.m. New York time, on the Tuesday following the 10th weekend of the regular season, prior club has exclusive negotiating rights. August 1st, Hall of Fame game, Canton, Ohio. August 1–4, Hall of Fame weekend, Canton, Ohio. August 6th, deadline for players under contract to report to their clubs to earn an accrued season for free agency. August 6th, if a drafted rookie has not signed with his club by this date, he cannot be traded to any other club in 2019, and may sign a player contract only with the drafting club until the day of the draft in the 2020 league year. August 31st, prior to 4 p.m. New York time, clubs must reduce rosters to a maximum of 53 players on the active/inactive list. Simultaneously with the cut down to 53, clubs that have players in the categories of active, physically unable to perform, or active, non-football injury or illness must select one of the following options: place player on reserve, physically unable to perform, or reserve, non-football injury or illness, whichever is applicable, request waivers, terminate contract, trade contract, or continue to count the player on the active list. September 1st, claiming period for players placed on waivers at the final roster reduction will expire at 12 o'clock noon, New York time. Upon receipt of the personnel notice at approximately 1 p.m. New York time, clubs may establish a practice squad of 10 players. Clubs participating in the International Player Development Program may sign one additional international player to a practice player contract. No club, including the player's prior club, will be permitted to sign a player to a practice player contract until all clubs have received simultaneous notification via the above personnel notice that such player's prior NFL player contract has been terminated via the waiver system. September 5th, at 12 a.m., New York time, the Top 51 rule expires for all NFL clubs. September 5th, 8 to 9, regular season week 1.